Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here once again with some more geography now. Uh, yeah, we're kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty of geography now. One of my favorite channels, and I've done I think I have all the regions videos done that they've made. I've got all caught up on all the countries of uh geography now. So if you're new to this channel, I've done pretty much most of the countries up until, are we on the S's? We're still on the S's, I think. And I'll still continue to do those as they are released. And so I'm kind of doing uh the other kind of cool videos Geography Now, has released. And what is the largest city nobody talks about? I don't know. Obviously not if no one talks about it, right? And so yeah, I'm gonna continue to do Geography Now video as long as they have some stuff I haven't done that that's cool, right? I'm gonna do their videos, and yeah, we're gonna check this out, guys. Before we do, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're definitely new and don't know Geography Now, you gotta like and subscribe them as well, because Geography Now is an amazing channel. Gave have given me so much content, and they're just so much fun. The videos are so much fun. But anyways, let's jump into this, guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, let's do it. Where is this largest city no one talks about? I wonder where it's located.
So, as you know, this is going to be a filler week. And as usual, you can always get a Geography Now mug or a t-shirt or a gym sack at
I got a shirt.
geographynow.com. It's not selling out if it's my merch. Anywho, this week I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. I haven't done one of these in a while. I kind of wanted to do something more like a thesis-based editorial expose type of video. Now, in my job, one thing I have to do is I have to look at a lot of numbers and data when it comes to making these country profile videos. And one common thread that we all know is that the world is becoming rapidly and increasingly more urban, especially as the information age and digital era has taken over and industry is becoming more autonomous. Cities are growing exponentially these days, and it's estimated that there are somewhere around 600 cities around the world that have populations over 1 million. And on top of that, we have mega cities. A mega city is generally defined as any area that has an urban agglomeration over 10 million people. Now, varying sources have slightly conflicting numbers, but as of 2020, it is estimated that there are somewhere around 35 to 40 mega cities across the world, and more are expected to arise in the coming decades. And out of these mega cities, you probably know a lot of them. They're very popular. Today, Tokyo, Japan still holds the crown for being the most populated metropolitan area on Earth at somewhere around 40 million people, more than the entire population of Canada, although some people say that when they combine Shenzhen and Guangzhou together, it's a little bit more, but whatever. Now you would think, oh yeah, these cities probably have so much going on and they're very popular and everybody's talking about them. Surprisingly, that's actually not the case for all of them. Some of these cities have huge, massive urban conglomerations. However, on a global reputation scale, for lack of a better term, they don't really rank too high. So what exactly makes a city popular? There actually is kind of like a slightly imperfect unit of measurement for these types of things. It's called the GPCI, or the Global Power City Index. I have it written here. It measures cities' levels of comprehensive magnetism made off of 6 functions: accessibility, economy, research and development, environment, livability, and cultural interaction. And that's good and all. However, I personally, on my own end, would maybe add a few more categories to that list. For example, how often does this city appear in the news? How often does it appear in media, or in movies, or TV shows, or books, or social media? What is the hype like? How often is this area promoted, and what are the advertisements like? What is the tourism flow? What is the general...
Right, I guess we're gonna obviously find out, but yeah, I mean, if it's like in movies or like places where events are, a lot of events are taking place, like sporting events and stuff like that, then obviously we're gonna know about it. But I guess maybe some of these big cities might be probably more in low key like countries who don't get all the attention. Maybe some countries don't get all the attention, or they're maybe it's gonna be a big city in a country that already has a big city, and that other big city is the one that gets all the attention, right? Pretty much, right?
general public recognition? Is there like an analogous trait about this city that is kind of like universally known? It could be anything, like a landmark, the Eiffel Tower, Paris, everybody knows that. Does this city or the country of this city have a lot of people in diaspora that put this place on spotlight? Kind of like, how tons of Jamaicans in the US talk about Kingston all the time, and that's how we know about Kingston. Are there any notable events that have happened that give this country its prestige? Like maybe hosting a large worldwide event. Nobody really knew what Sochi was until they hosted the Winter Olympics. Olympics? And finally,
True.
are there any notable people or celebrities that have put this place on the map? I mean, clearly Ronaldo put Madeira on the map because he is definitely from there. Definitely not from Brazil. I swear he is not from Brazil. He's from Madeira. I will never survive that nightmare. Anyway, when you go down the list of megacities, they all pretty much rank pretty high on the popularity index, and there really isn't too much to.
It is kind of funny though, because I've my earlier videos, earlier doing geography now videos or whatnot. I'll have made like some kind of comment or assumption, and then I'll find out, like, obviously from the comments, that I was wrong, and then I'll admit that, like, in maybe like the following video, that I was wrong. Sorry guys, whatever. And then but still, like, to this day, I'll still get like random comments saying, correcting me, because they still don't see like me, admitting I was wrong or correcting myself or something like that, and it's kind of funny.
Argue about, because everybody's kind of heard of most of them. Mumbai with Bollywood, Shanghai with its ubiquitous financial and commercial district skyline, Paris, New York, Moscow, London. No questioning the widespread international acknowledgement of these cities. They
Right.
literally make the news every hour of every single day. They're popular. But then going down the line, you start seeing, some cities that are still widely known, but not as much, to the international extent as their spotlight counterpart cities. Most of these are in India and China, like Bangalore, Chennai, Xiamen, Chengdu, Chongqing, cities like that, they're not.
I must admit, I don't think I've heard of those cities. So, like I said, other ones are taking the spotlight from them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of those cities. Or if I have, then obviously it didn't really leave a great impression, I guess. So I guess that's why no one talks about it. Anyways.
Or Chennai, Xiamen, Chengdu, Chongqing. Cities like that, they're not as well recognized, but I would argue they still hold a lot of weight in the popularity index, at least in contrast to the least talked about megacity. Now, when it comes to the largest city that is the least talked about, we kind of have to immediately eliminate the cities that are in global powerhouse nations, simply because the corresponding nation that they're in kind of just immediately boosts up their reputation by default. What is a good way to gauge what is a global superpower? I generally kind of like to look at the G8 or the G20 summit nations, because statistically speaking, they literally are the powerhouse nations that run most of the world and its economy. They hold a lot of weight and power on a global scale. So any of the cities in these countries, I would say, probably rank pretty high in the global popularity index, no matter what. So that means we have to take out all the cities in countries like India, China, the USA, most of Europe, even Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Turkey, Indonesia, even South Africa. If we eliminate all the G20 summit countries, then that means there's only 11 megacities left that we can look at. The first 9 of these cities are within Africa: Cairo, Egypt, and Lagos, Nigeria. Within Asia: Bangkok, Thailand; Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam; 2 in Pakistan, Karachi and Lahore; Manila in the Philippines; and Tehran in Iran. And within South America: Lima, Peru, and Bogota, Colombia. And with that, I deliberately left.
Yeah, I think like ones you just mentioned there, like, I definitely heard of a bunch of them. Some of them I think I've heard of, I'm not sure. So, like, obviously, I guess they're not part of the, nobody talks about it, since I think I've heard of all those ones you just mentioned. So, yeah, I guess he's holding up 2 fingers. I guess we got 2 left.
Out 2 of them because I believe the last final 2 megacities are the least talked about in the world. But let's go over the last final 9, okay? Cairo, no question. Pyramids, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Lagos, come on. Powerhouse of Africa, most populous country in Africa. Nollywood, the prestige level is already through the roof. Bangkok, literally voted the most popular travel destination in like 2018, 2019, I think I forgot. It's booming in tourism. Everybody knows it. Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh. Vietnam ranks really high in the popularity scale index as well. Lots of history behind it. The Vietnam War. Ho Chi Minh, named after a notable figure that was from the Vietnam War. Now it's Pakistan, Karachi, and Lahore. I would say they rank a little less, but not that much. I mean, Karachi port is
To be honest, Karachi and Lahore, I think the only reason I heard it just because I've done videos, like, I think I've done, obviously I've done Pakistan on geography now, so I think a lot of these cities I might just know just because I've done videos, and they've been included in those videos. Maybe because I know, like, a lot. If I haven't have done this channel and these videos, I probably would not have heard of some of these places.
a very huge business hub, especially with shipping. Lahore, the capital of the Punjab region, one of the largest ethnic groups in the entire area. And if anything, they are right next to India, which is a powerhouse, so they kind of by default get a little bit of that neighbor prestige leftovers, even though relationally, it's not always been so good. But regionally, it works in their favor. Manila, relatively easy access with flights, lots of sea travel. Again, another huge tourism spot, very widely known and recognized internationally. Huge diaspora that puts their country and cities in the limelight, and really good food. Iran, Tehran. Iran has been in the news a lot, and Tehran being the leading city in the news for Iran. So many books and movies and TV shows about Iran, and one of my favorites being Persepolis. And of course, I mean, it was the Persian Empire, and they had a huge dent in global history. No way that place is not recognized. Bogota, Colombia, pretty high up there as well. People love Colombians, you know, there's that whole stereotype that they're all attractive. Miss Universe contests. And even though the whole Pablo Escobar thing was in Medellin, you know, by default, they get the prestige from Medellin because it's the same country. It doesn't matter if they get the cities wrong. It's like, who cares? It's all the same for us. Colombia, it works. And finally, Lima, Peru. Easy access to Cusco, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, I think. Yes. Anyway, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like I definitely use that as a. I believe that was the picture I used in a thumbnail because I've done from the Inca, right? So yeah, awesome. Yeah, if you're into like the Inca and the Maya and all that stuff, I've done videos on that. Definitely check them out.
Easy access to Cusco, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, I think. Yes. Anyway, it's amazing. The Spanish they speak is easy. Huge tourism. Great business. Easy access with the sea. Culturally intact with themselves and the outside world. No question, popular city. So that leaves us with the final 2 mega cities that are least talked about in the world. Now, in my speculation, taking all the factors into account and compiling as much data as I can into the mix, it seems to me that the second largest city least talked about in the world is Dhaka, Bangladesh. For one, out of all the mega cities in the world, they have the least tourism. For the past few years, they've been averaging less than 200,000 tourist visitors every single year, which is kind of...
I mean, I guess no one actually talks about it. I have heard because I'm just doing my geography now because I have heard of it, so it's not like I don't know of Dhaka, but and no one talks about it.
a bummer because they actually have a lot of really cool, vibrant, rich cultural sites and areas to visit and see, and a lot of it is just relatively unknown to the outside world. I would argue though that they do still have a slightly higher degree of international acknowledgement than the number 1 spot on this list because of a few factors. For one, ease of access. It is relatively very easy to get into Bangladesh, either by sea, by air, by road, by train. They have overall better infrastructure. Their GDP per capita is about 5 times higher, and their unemployment rate is about 4 times lower than the number 1 city on this list. They have a better online and media presence. I mean, Dhaka has 1.3 million hashtag posts on Instagram, whereas the number 1 city only has about 480,000. And finally, I would argue that they do kind of have that rebound prestige from being attached to their incredibly popular neighbor, India. I mean, business between them is huge. There's a lot of Bengali people living in the West Bengal area of India. And even though it kind of gets the short end of the stick with international recognition, at least it has easier access, if that kind of makes sense. So then that kind of begs the question, what is the number 1 spot? What is the largest city that nobody talks about? Drum roll. It would be Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo. According to the International World Tourism Organization, their peak in tourism was only at about 360,000 tourists in 2016. The city is more difficult to access. They are located inland on the Congo.
Oh man, the name doesn't even ring a bell. I've done the Congo. I feel bad now. I guess that's why no one talks about it. Because I've done the Congo, but even the name didn't ring a bell. I mean, other names they've mentioned actually rang a bell and I've heard it before, but for some reason this wasn't. So yeah, I'm guilty now of nobody talking about it. Sorry. Anyways, yeah.
In 2016, the city is more difficult to access. They are located inland on the Congo River, so you can pretty much only get there by plane or take an incredibly long road trip from other nations on roads that are not always well maintained. And unlike Dhaka, Kinshasa doesn't really have a spotlight powerhouse neighbor to gain rebound reputation points. They are the biggest thing going on in the area. They have to be their own main show in the middle of nowhere in the Congo jungle, which is weird because they are actually the world's largest francophone city on earth, more than Paris, and on top of that, largest francophone nation on earth, more than France. Back in the day, the DRC had quite a few issues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if no one can get to it, if you can't just get there easy, like no one probably wants to go through the travel, it probably costs more money I mean, once you get there, it's probably not that expensive, but just to travel and I guess the pain in the butt of getting there, people first aren't going to want to go there in general, and apparently they're not on the news or anything else or tourist stuff apparently. So yeah, I guess definitely makes sense that no one goes there. And and plus, I think Africa gets kind of forgotten about when it comes to like cool places to go see. I think they're kind of under the radar. So just it being in Africa in general, they don't get the spotlight, right? Which is unfortunate.
Actually the world's largest francophone city on earth, more than Paris, and on top of that, largest francophone nation on earth, more than France. Back in the day, the DRC had quite a few issues. According to CIA World Factbook, economic reforms remained slow because of political instability, bureaucratic inefficiency, corruption, which also dampened international investment prospects. But things have been getting a little better. A transitional government was installed in 2003 after years of internal conflict, especially in the eastern Kasai region. Things look a little more promising as their last president did step down after his second term and did not continue on with changing the constitution to have indefinite terms, which is kind of like a little bit of a reassuring move, showing that they're kind of moving forward in the right political direction. Although he is labeled as a senator for life, so he'll still have something. At least way better than Mobutu. That guy was insane. I mean, the majority of transportation is dependent on riverways. Only a few paved highways exist, and transnational travel only goes along gravel and crude earth paths. But when you go to Kinshasa, it's really interesting because it's kind of like a lot of countries, especially developing ones, it's like they kind of have.
So yeah, I guess I've done a video on here, so I like some of the stuff is coming up as being obviously familiar. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that, from the videos I've done. So yeah, like a lot of this not really is that big of a surprise.
One or two very main, prominent, metropolitan, modern cities, and the rest of the country is just kind of like nowhere near that level of development. I mean, Kinshasa is pretty impressive. I mean, here's some footage from other YouTubers showing that the city has massive paved boulevards, stadiums, it's
Nice.
clean and organized, steel and glass high-rise buildings, an opulent, beautiful layout, places to go and hang out. There is a lot of potential, actually. It's just it kind of needs to be organized a little better. According to CIA World Factbook, again, only about half the city has access to regular electricity. And yeah, Kinshasa can be kind of expensive. I mean, groceries on average cost just as much, if not more, than they cost in Europe, because, a lot of it is imported. One good trend that has been happening, though, is that a lot of Congolese diaspora have been moving back to this city.
But I think just like anywhere else, right? I'm sure like the markets there, I guess that kind of stuff. I'm sure you could probably get that stuff pretty cheap. But yeah, if you're trying to get the normal goods that we use on a day-to-day life, yeah, if they have to import all that, yeah, that's gonna be pretty up there in price.
Trend that has been happening, though, is that a lot of Congolese diaspora have been moving back to this city in an attempt to kind of make it better. They're investing their time
Awesome.
and energy and resources and education in their homeland. A lot more residential plots have been built up, especially the chic, new, opulent Gombe district, and the diaspora Congolese people are buying up these properties. And I mean, it's kind of bougie, and there's a lot of new places that they're building that you can check out if you visit. Here are some of them. I'll just make a huge, long montage on screen so that you guys can see it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to go there. I want to check it out. So there you go. That's my little thesis statement with support claims, concluding that Kinshasa is officially the world's largest city that nobody talks about. And hopefully this video will have you talking about it. Stay cool.
Woo!
Stay tuned.
Awesome, Natasha. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll have us talking about it. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to find too many conversations to include it. But anyways, guys, I'm kind of curious, the people watching this video, have you heard of this city or know anything about it before this video? Or are you just as, or this is surprised as I am? It doesn't surprise me as far as the location, because I guess if I was going to like choose like a place where the city would be, I would have chosen probably Africa myself, some place in Africa. But anyways, guys, definitely interesting. I liked how they kind of went from like they started from like the most popular cities and they kind of worked its way down. They just like dive right into it. So that was kind of interesting that they kind of left us guessing on where it was and stuff like that. That was really cool. But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you like this video, please try and check out some of my other content, So it'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks to grow. But anyways, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and catch you guys in future videos. Peace. I am out of here.